So I'm going to prove to you right now that you are not physically moving in your body anywhere, but rather you are only moving within yourself or your consciousness from one reality to another one. And as you do, you project yourself on the screen of space as the body in that reality into which you have moved or you have merged with. If you move from where you are right now to another place, how do you know that you have moved? The only way you know that you have moved is through your awareness of being in a new place, by seeing something different or a new place. So where did you move? You only moved within yourself or your awareness to a different place or point of view. And as you move within yourself as consciousness, your body, which is simply your projection, appears where you have moved in your consciousness. You do not move in waking any more than you move on your bed in sleep. It's all a movement of mind. You only believe that you are moving when you are awake, as you think you move in sleep. Neville Goddard. So you move in your current body, in your waking dream or your current reality, in the same way you are moving when you are dreaming at night. You only believe that you are physically moving when you are only moving within your awareness from one reality to another one and occupy an already existing body in that reality or project yourself as that body in that reality. So your every experience, including the experience of being and moving in your current body, in your current reality, is only a dream that you are dreaming in the same way you are dreaming of being and moving in another body in your night dream, believing it to be real. But then when you wake up in the morning, you realize that you were not moving at all, because your body remained on the bed while you were dreaming, and the whole experience of your night dream was only a dream. And since you only move within your awareness or consciousness, the key to shifting realities is to move to your desired reality in your consciousness. And how do you move anywhere or to any particular place in your awareness? You move by viewing yourself from that place or point of view. In other words, if you were aware of being in your desired reality now, or if you as a pure awareness or consciousness were in your preferred reality right now, what would be your experience through your five senses? What would you see, hear, touch, taste, or smell if you as a pure awareness were in your desired reality right now? So the key here is to feel the solidity of your desired reality, or to make it solidly real in your awareness. In other words, feel the reality of what you want in your consciousness and then remain in that feeling. That is how you move between various realities. So you move via the feeling of any particular reality in your consciousness. So you need to experience everything from that point of awareness and then remain at that point no matter where you are right now or what your senses are telling you. That is the test. If you remain where you want to be in your awareness, you will externalize that reality, or you will perceive yourself from that point of view in another body in that reality, because your body is simply a projection of your consciousness. It's impossible without motion to bring anything into this world. And the motion is all within you. The motion is a simple motion. All you do, you know exactly what you want. Well, if you had it, how would you see the world? If you see it as you now see it, you haven't moved. If you see it as you would see it after the result, then you have moved. Now continue seeing that For motion can be detected only by a change of position relative to another object. If I say I am moving now and I see everything as it is now, then I haven't moved. But if as I move, I look at the same frame of reference and I see it from a different angle, then I have moved. If I do, no power in the world can stop it. They can't stop it. So God moves from one state to another state. He remains faithful to the state into which he goes. And then whatever is there must project itself on the screen of space and bear witness to his creative power. Neville Goddard. So this is exactly how it works. Anything that you can think of or imagine literally exists right now as a separate parallel reality, or like a frame on a film strip. Now, in each of these realities or frames, you already exist as a different person in another body. Depending on what you believe or feel to be true, you move your awareness into any particular frame or a reality. And then you remain there by believing it to be true. So if your awareness or consciousness moves into any particular frame or a reality and then remains there, that frame or a reality will be externalized on the screen of space, or you as consciousness will project itself into an already existent body in that frame or a reality on the screen of space. So you prepare your desired frame or a reality in advance by moving into that reality in your consciousness. And as you remain there, you will go through a series of events or various other frames until you finally end up in your desired frame or a reality in which you are already the person you want to be. In my father's house, there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go and prepare a place for you. And when I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. So where I am, you may be also. John 14:2. The Father is your I amness, or your own awareness of being. So there are many mansions or realities in your Father's house or in your awareness. But you need to go within yourself or your awareness and prepare your desired place or a reality. And so you prepare it by moving within yourself or your consciousness to your desired place or a reality. And you remain there as if you are already there. You as consciousness will be externalized on the screen of space as the body in that reality. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. So where I am, you may be also. So where you are in your consciousness, there you must also be projected as your body, or there you may be also in your body. So this is how to wake up in another body, in any reality that you desire. You do it by entering that reality in your awareness, via the feeling of that reality. See, you don't physically move your body from one reality to another one, but rather you only move within yourself or your consciousness by feeling to be in another body in a different reality. And you then appear there in that body, in that reality. So to find yourself in another reality, you as consciousness must feel yourself in that reality. And then you will discover yourself in another body there, or you will wake up in that reality. You can't just physically take a certain road to go from one reality to another one. Because the only way of shifting between various realities is through your consciousness or your awareness of being there. This I know from experience. Sitting in a chair, suddenly I'm seeing what reason tells me I should not see. I'm seeing what seems to be the interior of a home, or lying on my bed, I see the interior or it seems to be, of a great hotel. An unoccupied suite ready for occupancy, but not occupied. Well, while seated in the chair or lying on my bed, my consciousness follows vision. And I entered that room. I actually occupied it. I came back to where I was seated. And then I went back, and again it took on a cubic reality. I came back knowing exactly what I am doing. And knowing this whole thing makes no sense whatsoever to the rational mind. But I cannot deny what I am experiencing. Here I have the evidence. No one to share it with, but I have the evidence. I came back and then went back into the picture. At the moment I entered the picture, it took on cubic reality. And after doing it maybe a dozen times or more, I said to myself, I'm going to explore. This time I'm going to go right into it and remain there and explore, which I did. So I stepped into the picture, and as it closed around me, from my bed it seemed to be 30 by 20, but when I stepped into it, determined this time to keep going regardless of consequences, it closed around me, a third of what it seemed to be as I looked at it from the bed. So 30 by 20 became 10 by 7. I found it to be a dressing room of a huge, wonderful suite ready for occupancy. No one was in it. I am the only occupant now. I came out by opening up a door. I didn't go through it by some vapor. I actually opened the door, and to myself, I was solidly real, just like the man who is talking to you now. My hand could open a door, and the door was solid and it was real. And I went through the door. I entered the corridor. It was a nice wide corridor, dimly lit. At the end of the corridor intersecting, it was a brilliantly lit corridor. I walked down to the very end, and when I got to the end, here is this luminous, wonderful corridor. I saw two ladies coming down the corridor. I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew how it began. It began by seeing what seemed to be just a vision, like a painting. I knew that I left my bed, my consciousness, following vision, and I entered the painting, and the painting took on cubic reality. I knew it, so I call that a dream. Knowing it began as a dream, I said to myself, it has still to be a dream, but I am dreaming now awake. I am not dreaming sleeping. I am fully awake, and it is a dream. And I said to the ladies as they came by, ladies, this is all a dream. They did exactly what any nice ladies would do. They thought they were looking at a madman. So they got as far removed from me as they could and got right next to the wall. But the wall was as solidly real as that wall. They couldn't go through it any more than I could. Now you know it began as a dream, Neville. And this still has to be a dream. All ends run true to origins, and the origin of this experience of yours was a dream. So this must be a dream, but it's not a dream. I'm just as awake as I am now, and talking to you as I was talking to those ladies. Then I said to myself, you know, how are you going to get back? How are you going to get back? There is no road leading back to that bed on which you left a body. How to get back? I couldn't go through that door that led from the suite of rooms into the corridor and find any exit from there back to where I lived in Beverly Hills. What on earth am I going to do? I knew, reason told me, that if I don't get back within a very short time, they will find that body on the bed, and they will have to examine it, and they will declare it a heart attack or something. But they have got to find a physical cause for it. And here I'm looking at something entirely different. I will die, all right, if I don't get back. I must get back. Then I remembered a similar experience that happened years before, when feeling brought me back. Feeling awoke me in a dream. I found myself on a beach. It wasn't Barbados, it was more like the Pacific Islands. I have not been there, but I had been born in the tropics, so I knew exactly what they must look like. But it was not the West Indies, it was the East Indies. And here I know I am dreaming. I thought to myself, I wonder if I had a physical object and forced myself to wake, if I would wake. So I tried it. I held onto a pile driving into the beach there, a solid mass of cement. As I held it, I said, I'm not going to let go. I'm going to awake right here. So I held it, and as I held it, I said, come on, awake. You know you are dreaming. And I felt myself come to as a person comes to when they are waking in the morning. I awoke, and there I am, completely awake, wading in the water, holding onto this object. So I closed my eyes and I imagined that my head was on a pillow and that I could feel the pillow. And then after a little while, when I opened my eyes, I am still standing in the corridor. I tried it again. And then by the third time, as I tried it, I could feel something under my head. I allowed that to remain, then suddenly I could feel it. I tried to open my eyes, and I couldn't this time. Instead of standing as I am now, perpendicular, I feel I am lying horizontally. So I felt, well, I must be back now, but I couldn't move my body. The body was cataleptic, and I am frozen like this. Then in about, maybe 20 seconds or so, I could move this little finger. I couldn't open my eyes. In a little while, I could move from the elbow down. And then with tremendous effort, I could move the arm, and I pushed it out to feel the warm body of my wife. Then I knew I was back. But I hadn't yet been able to open the eyes. Then with a tremendous effort, I could open the lid and see the familiar objects in the room that I had left behind me. Then I knew what makes everything real in this world. The Spirit of God dwells in me, and He is my own wonderful human imagination. I walked into a thing that I could only see lying upon my bed. Entering that state, it took on a cubic reality. God made this world real by entering it. Neville Goddard. So think of your current reality as the picture you have entered in your consciousness. And when you entered it, it took on a cubic reality. Thus, your current reality is only objective to you because you as an awareness are in it right now. So the key to shifting to any reality is to literally step into your desired picture or reality in your awareness or consciousness. In other words, you need to literally go or step into your desired reality as a pure awareness now. And if you remain there, it must solidify around you, or it must externalize on the screen of space. You cannot physically take any road to shift between various realities, whether you want to shift between two completely different universes, or you want to move between various parallel realities in this universe. The only road you can take from one reality to another one is through your awareness of being in that particular reality. In other words, you shift between various realities in your awareness via the feeling of your desired reality. So the feeling of any particular reality is what will shift your awareness into that reality. There was no road which Neville could take to get back into his body which he left on his bed in Beverly Hills. He was in a completely different universe. The only way he could get back is through the feeling of being on his bed in Beverly Hills, or through the feeling of his head on a pillow. So the feeling what brought him back into his body on his bed in Beverly Hills. So this is exactly how you shift realities. You only move from one reality to another one within your awareness via the feeling of that reality. That is the secret.